Hi, everyone, and welcome back. As you step into session 8, I want to pause and acknowledge where you are. This is the final week of From Rebel to Healing. Over the past weeks, you've walked alongside people as they learn to calm their bodies, name emotions, share parts of their story, recognize their strengths, and begin imagining hope again. You've held space for pain without rushing it and for growth without forcing it. That kind of facilitation truly matters. This final session isn't about tying everything up neatly. Healing rarely works that way. Instead, this week is about integration, helping participants notice what has changed, what tools they now carry, and how they want to move forward with care and intention. As you lead today, continue holding the same posture you've practiced all along: steady, present, and unhurried. Trust the process you've already built. What matters most this week is not doing something new, but honoring what has already been done. You're closing something meaningful, and the way you do that will stay with your group. For today, make sure you bring markers, crayons, or colored pencils. These are required for the final activity. Begin the session as usual, checking in about homework, briefly reviewing last week, and breaking into pairs to share highs and lows using the 3 listening questions. Open space for group sharing and allow the final participants to share part of their story. Next, guide the group through deep breathing and then move into the completion of the story of Joseph. You'll hear the story once, then ask, what did you notice or appreciate about today's part of Joseph's story? If it doesn't come up naturally, help guide the conversation toward Joseph recognizing that his hardship shaped his ability to help not only himself, but many others. Today, you'll introduce a concept that brings together much of what this group has practiced over the last 8 weeks: post-traumatic growth. It's important to say clearly that post-traumatic growth does not mean trauma was good, necessary, or wanted. Trauma is real, painful, and often deeply unfair. Naming growth never minimizes harm. Post-traumatic growth refers to something different. It describes the possibility that meaningful change can emerge through suffering when pain is met with support, reflection, and care, rather than isolation or denial. You can ground this idea in Joseph's story. Participants have seen him endure betrayal, loss, injustice, and long seasons of waiting. What makes his story remarkable is not just that he survived, but that he was changed over time. His suffering shaped his character, his wisdom, patience, discernment, and compassion grew. He was not the same person who had been thrown into the pit. That kind of change is what we mean by post-traumatic growth. In psychology, post-traumatic growth describes positive changes that can occur alongside pain. Research shows that trauma can deeply disrupt people's lives, and over time and with support can also lead to growth in areas such as meaning, relationships, resilience, and purpose. This growth is not automatic or guaranteed. It unfolds slowly and unevenly. Post-traumatic growth often shows up in several ways. Some people experience deeper meaning or faith. Trauma often strips away easy answers and forces deeper questions, which can lead to a more grounded sense of purpose. Others develop new perspectives. Like Joseph, people may eventually hold their story with more complexity, less self-blame, and greater clarity without erasing what was painful. Many experience changes in relationships. Healing can deepen connection, strengthen trust in safer ways, or lead to healthier boundaries. Others discover resilience and inner strength they didn't know they had. Some also feel drawn to help others. Suffering can increase empathy and compassion, positioning people to support others in meaningful ways. It's important to name that growth does not erase grief or loss. Post-traumatic growth doesn't cancel pain. It places it within a larger story that also includes meaning and movement forward. You can also normalize that many participants may not see growth yet. Some may still feel like Joseph in the pit or the prison, confused, tired, or waiting. That doesn't mean they're doing something wrong. Growth often becomes visible later, sometimes long after the hardest season has passed. What matters is not forcing growth, but creating conditions where growth can eventually take place. At its heart, post-traumatic growth is not something that happens automatically. It develops over time, often through many small moments rather than one big turning point. It involves how a person slowly learns to relate to their pain and to their future. People may find themselves wrestling with questions like, will I completely shut down because of what I've been through? Or can I stay open in small ways to what God may still be shaping in me? Will this suffering become the only thing that defines my story? Or can it be one part of a story that continues to unfold? Can I be honest about the pain while also believing that growth and meaning are still possible, even if I can't see them yet? These are not questions that need quick answers. They are questions people live with over time, often returning to them again as healing continues. Over the past 8 weeks, participants have practiced calming their bodies, naming emotions, telling parts of their story, recognizing strengths, and imagining hope. This last activity is not about learning something new, it's about helping all of that come together. Many trauma survivors carry internal messages such as, I'm broken, I'll never be the same, something in me is damaged beyond repair. Trauma does change us, but change does not automatically mean destruction. Often it means transformation. This final activity is inspired by kintsugi, a Japanese art form where broken pottery is repaired with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they are highlighted. The places that were broken become part of the object's story and beauty. This mirrors trauma recovery. Healing doesn't mean returning to who we were before trauma. It means learning how to live fully as who we are now, carrying both loss and growth. Give participants a piece of paper and writing tools. Invite them to draw a simple outline of a bowl, vase, or cup that represents themselves. Artistic skills does not matter. They'll color in the vessel, representing the whole of who they are. Next, invite them to draw cracks, representing experiences that hurt them or changed them. They may write words along those cracks, naming the hardships. Then comes the shift. Using a colored marker, participants trace over the cracks, not to hide them, but to highlight them. Along each crack, they write something that grew alongside that hardship. For example, wisdom, discernment, compassion, courage, resilience, or faith. This step reinforces a core truth. Meaning can exist alongside pain. Growth does not erase suffering, but it can grow next to it. As participants work, walk around quietly and offer gentle support. You might ask, what helped you survive that season? What did this experience shape in you? What do others notice about you because of what you've lived through? Once this activity feels complete, bring the group back together. Invite reflection without pressure to share details. What did you notice? Did anything surprise you? How does it feel to see your story represented this way? You can close this reflection by naming this truth. We are not defined only by what broke us. Like kintsugi pottery, our stories are not less visible because they have cracks. In many ways, they are richer because of them. As you prepare to close the group, remember there is no single right way to end. What feels meaningful will vary from culture and context. Some groups may appreciate something tangible, like a simple certificate. Others may value shared connection, a meal, coffee, or time to linger together. Any of these can be enough. Both the facilitator and participant packets include a page listing the tools introduced over the weeks. Some facilitators choose to use this page as part of closing, inviting reflection on which tools were most helpful and which participants still use. You might ask, which tools were most helpful for you and why? Which ones do you still use? Were there any that surprised you? Are there people in your life who might benefit from one of these tools? This kind of reflection helps consolidate learning and supports a sense of closure. As you come to the end of From Rebel to Healing, I want to acknowledge the impact of what you've done. You didn't just lead sessions, you showed up as a steady, safe presence. The courage participants brought was met by your willingness to listen, pace carefully, and honor their stories. For some, you may have been the first person to sit with them without fixing, rushing, or turning away. This curriculum was never meant to be the end. It was a beginning. The tools don't expire, and neither does the trust that has been built. As you move forward, stay connected in small ways. Healing continues in relationship. And remember this: every moment of dignity you helped restore, every space of safety you protected, every person who felt less alone, those are quiet signs of God's kingdom at work. Thank you for saying yes to this work. What you've begun here will continue to ripple outward, often in ways you may never fully see. And thank you for walking with your group from rubble into hope and toward healing.